Stacey, and our timekeeper is Jules Rush. He's got the yellow and red cards there. I think the candidates know what they mean, but you'll explain. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. I just want to start off by saying thank you for running for council. We appreciate this as taxpayers. I will read each question to each of the council candidates first, and when you're all done answering your questions, then we'll go to the mayor, and he'll be answering the question from us. I will read the question to each candidate. We'll start with the first question. We'll go through the same question for everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4. The second question will go 2, 3, 4, 1, and so on. There'll be a total of 8 questions. You'll have 2 minutes to answer the questions. Mr. Roush will show you a yellow card. Mr. Roush will show you a yellow card at 30 seconds left. And then the pink card when your time is up. Does anybody have any questions? No? Make sure your green light is on your mic and it's close, because obviously they have a hard time hearing. I just want to, you have 2 minutes. You might not have to use all the full 2 minutes, so don't worry if you don't need all full 2 minutes. Okay, we'll start with question number 1, Mr. Perez. Oh, we'll start with your introductions. We'll go through each of the introductions at each 2 minutes. Start with Mr. Perez. Like do your introduction.
Okay, cool. Hello, everyone. First off, my name is Joel Jan Perez. I'm running for City Council here at Cape May. I want to say thank you to all of you. First off, thank you to the Tax Association for hosting this event. And I want to say thank you to everyone for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. I'm the son of a Coast Guard family that is stationed right here in Cape May. My dad has been in the Coast Guard for more than 20 years. And because of that, I lived around a lot of places in America. I lived in Oklahoma, Florida, Washington State, the island of Guam, and of course, Cape May. Cape May, however, is very important to me because all the memories I've made with my friends and family. And because of that, that is also because I actually been stationed here twice. First in 2016 for a few years, and in 2021. And I'm very blessed to grow up here in Cape May. This year has been very interesting for me. I've been looking forward to the election, to participate in the election as a viewer, in the local election. But I've also been looking forward to all the other events leading up to the election. However, during the early parts of this year, I've been talking to people and how they're telling me how they most about how they wish for the quality of life to be improved here in Cape May. Because of that, I've been called to represent the people of Cape May, and I wish to do that by running for City Council. My goal is to work with the mayor and council to put our residents first, and I wish to be a strong voice for our city. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeSantos, will you please do your introduction?
Good evening. Thank you for coming tonight. I want to thank everybody here for coming and understand that this is a very important election. We need to do what we're supposed to do and participate in the election in every way. Now, I'm a local, I'm a lifelong resident, I'm a professional sport fish captain that makes a living on the ocean. Now, I'm here and I represent the boating community, the sailing community, and the yachtsmen. Now, I am an advocate of using underutilized assets. We have an asset that is a 5-acre site along Delaware Avenue that is near the Corinthian Yacht Club. It's a 5-acre site. It is owned by the city, and the city can use this site, and I have a design, a 225 slip marina that we can put there, and this money will go into the budget of the city of Cape May. I have estimates to be $50 to $100 million worth of revenue that will come into the city, and we will be able to reduce our taxes. So by opening the marina, it should take about a year to get the permits. It should take about 2 years to build it. And when we build it, we'll be able to host the World Cup. This is a sailing event that's been going on since 1865. We can bring the World Cup here and have the boats sail up and down the beach. Really cool corporate boats down to the lighthouse, come back up. It'll be quite an event to host the World Cup when we have our grand opening at the Cape May City Marina Resort, which is owned by everybody here, not me, all of you. All you get the money, you get your taxes reduced, you might even get free trash pickup, you might even get a free beach tag.
Thank you.
There you go.
Mr. Bodnar, like to do your introduction?
Good evening. I was introduced to Cape May in 1974 when my parents bought their house in Cape May. I have great memories of playing tennis at the Cape May Tennis Center when I was a teenager. My wife, Ellen, and myself decided that Cape May is where we want to live. And we bought our house in 2008, and we became full-time residents in 2022. My professional background is being a career prosecutor. Being a prosecutor has given me a solid foundation to sit as a city council member. As a prosecutor, I serve the community. I handle complex matters, I tried serious cases. I was certified as a police training instructor. After fully retiring from practicing law, I've committed my talents and my energy to Cape May, to this community. I'm currently on the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and I'm on the Municipal Taxation and Revenue Advisory Committee. Serving on that committee, serving on that board, has given me firsthand knowledge of the organizational structure of Cape May, and two matters that are especially important to Cape May: city finances and land use. Now, I love Cape May, but that alone does not qualify me to sit on city council. That requires more. That requires experience, that requires knowledge, that requires a skill set to be a productive and contributing member of city council. I'm the only person sitting up here on stage that is currently on a city board or on a city committee, and that sets me apart from the other candidates running for office. My desire is to see the capital projects that are at hand completed. I will be a steward of the taxpayer money. I will contribute to the quality of life in Cape May and make Cape May even more appealing to the residents, businesses, and visitors. That's my desire.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Ms. Schwartz, would you like to do your introduction?
Yes. Hi, I'm Lori Schwartz, and thank you again for the opportunity to introduce myself this evening, as well as spend a little time together, possibly afterwards. And please feel free to always call me if you do have questions after tonight. So a little bit about my background. I'm not a politician. I'm a businesswoman. I owned the largest worldwide logistics company women-owned besides J.B. Hunt. I've worked with federal agencies all my life, committees, rules, rules, rules. At the same time, I moved to Cape May about, 3 years ago permanently. I bought my summer home here 6 years ago, and we've been vacationing coming to Cape May for 11 years. My family and I fell in love with it. My dog fell in love with it, so here we are. I am really an advocate for working together. I feel there's been a lot of separation. I'm getting to know what's happening in the town. I'm looking forward to working with the mayor and everyone on council to back up, and I will support all economic prosperity. During my term, I promise to protect the environment as best as possible while maintaining our quality of life. I also am a fiscal conservative. So I do believe that money should be spent at the right time and the right place. And I will work very hard with the municipality to make sure that your taxes do not go up. For those reasons, we all are watching our P's and Q's. Thank you so much for your time, and once again, if you have any questions, please always feel free to reach out to me. My number is available at my table. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Mullick?
First, just I want to say thank you to the TPA. Organizations like the TPA are so vital to Cape May, and events like this are vital to our democracy. So I thank you very much. Of course, I want to thank the citizens of Cape May for being here. To my fellow running mates, good luck to all of you. And I just want to say a special thank you to my wife, Justine, who's in the back watching our kids, which she always is. I want to just thank you for allowing me to do this. Being your mayor and serving my hometown has been one of the greatest honors of my life. Our greatest accomplishment has been bringing people together around our shared goals. None of those accomplishments over the last 4 years would have happened without the support and guidance of the citizens of Cape May and my fellow council members. To me, public safety is number one, but very close is financial strength. Financial strength pays for new firehouses, new firefighters, more police officers, ambulance, fire trucks, and all the equipment that they need. Financially, the city has never been stronger. No city tax increase over the last 5 years. In fact, we're the only municipality in the state that can say that has professional fire and police. We have today record surpluses and record income on investments, yet we're maintaining a flat tax and getting important projects completed. Some of those projects, of course, preservation of the 100-acre Soul Track, which I know is extremely important to many of us, new firehouse, preservation of the Franklin Street School, the new library, Kiwanis Club Park, new squad of police officers, new full-time firefighters, and of course some ADA improvements like the beach walk, new infrastructure, roads, removal of lead, all of those very important projects. But obviously we have a lot left to do. The three that I've mentioned that are really important over the next 4 years is the desal plant, the seawall, and the police station. And I hope for your continued support on those issues. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Now we'll start the questions just for the candidates. And we'll start with Mr. Perez and go along numerically. What is your motivation to run for city council, and how do you believe your participation will benefit and advance the city? I'll read it a second time. Let's hear it first. What is your motivation to run for city council, and how do you believe your participation will benefit and advance the city?
I believe I'm running for city council and I am running for city council because I love participating in the community. I love working together with people. I have volunteered in the Nature Center. I volunteered in many other libraries and places throughout my life, and working with people is one of my favorite things to do. I believe that I am qualified, and I believe that I can go serve in the council because I have a first-hand experience as a resident of Cape May. I want to continue that, and I want to make sure that I communicate with the people of Cape May to ensure that the quality of life here in Cape May is improved. I am very proud that I'm doing this, and that's because I'm trying to put the priorities of Cape May first. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. Mr. DeSantos, what is your motivation to run for city council, and how do you believe your participation will benefit and advance the city?
A good question. My motivation for running for council is because I live here. I am a local. I'm a third-generation Jersey boy. I love Cape May. I've been participating in Cape May's in every way. Now, I am here, and I respectfully understand it. We need to have a captain on council who understands we have a problem with our harbor, with infrastructure erosion, We have another problem with the green scam from our government. Joe Biden wants to put windmills off of our coast, which I am totally against. It's the biggest scam in the world. Now, I was approached by some scalp fishermen who have been basically devastated by the testing that they do on these test sites where the scalps are located in the scalp beds. They go in and do these sounding devices which basically kills the scalps and ruins the scalp beds. This is destroying our local economy. We have a scalp business is in the billions. We don't need to have some stupid windmills up and down the coast. Off of Cape May, they're trying to put them. So we need a mariner, we need a captain, we need someone who understands. We have a big ocean, we have a lot of problems that need to be addressed. Not just not understanding, but I understand that we have problems, and we need someone who understands the problems in the harbor. We have a big erosion problem along Delaware Avenue where I want to put the marina. Again, the marina is owned by everybody here, not me, it's everybody. So it'll bring money into our budget, $50 to $100 million we're losing every year we're not open because of this lack of understanding. My time's up.
Thank you. Mr. Bodnar, what is your motivation to run for city council, and how do you believe your participation will benefit and advance the city?
I'm running for city council because I choose to serve the public. I spent a career in public service as a prosecutor. In Cape May, I'm committed as a resident of Cape May, and by being on zoning board and also being on NTRAC. I put my words into action. That's my motivation to run for city council. What I intend to contribute to city council is the knowledge that I have learned being involved in the zoning board and on NTRAC. I deal with city financial issues. I also deal with land use issues. My experience as a resident in Cape May going back to the 70s makes me familiar with the streetscape in this city, which I'm concerned with and that we continue to maintain. I understand the finances of Cape May, have worked with them, and I'm prepared to hit the ground running when I'm elected to city council. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Schwartz, what is your motivation to run for city council, and how do you believe your participation will benefit and advance the city?
Well, one of the motivations to run for council was that I did move my whole family down here from North Jersey, sold my large business, and became a local. So I am immersed in the community and care very greatly about the future of Cape May. My son is in the advanced engineering program and also would like to come back as an adult and serve his community. I also believe to keep things moving. I don't think things should be stagnant, so when I say things should be moving, I would like to see Cape May flourish where we have little or no tax impact on the projects that we are already doing and the ones that we are thinking about doing. I like working with people, and I also have been very motivated to hear what's going on, what's happening in the city. This is a good time for new blood, I should say. And I feel that the committees I've been on and the agencies I've worked on in a large scale, especially traffic. Traffic is a big, thing of mine. I was on a lot of traffic committees in Newark and Port Authority committees for airports such as LaGuardia, JFK, and all that good stuff. So I would like to see our small city flourish and save ourselves some money. And I believe in true transparency in government, and we can make decisions together, and we can work together. And that is my goal for city council and why I want to run.
Thank you. Now for question number 2, we're going to start with Mark DeSantos. Santo, I'm sorry. City ordinance and resolution affect many residents, visitors, and businesses. When voting on resolutions and ordinances, it is important that you have all the information needed to make a decision. Explain your process on how you handle making decisions?
Good question. The process that I make is being informed. When we do the resolutions, we have to be informed. If we're not informed, and we're basically misled by, I think, a lot of people who work for the city, and I think people on the committees, and I think that even with our council people, I don't think people really know what they're doing that good. Now, my position is information, make sure it's correct, and we decide. And no bad information. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. DeSanto. Mr. Bodnar? City ordinances and resolutions affect many residents, visitors, and businesses. When voting on resolutions and ordinances, it's important that you have all the information needed to make a decision. Explain your process on how you handle making decisions.
When making decisions, the first thing that you need to do is identify the problems and issues related to that, whatever that particular issue is. Once you identify what the issue is, then I gather information. I think that the more information you have, the better, and the more sources that you get information from, the wider span. You need that information to be able to get a wide range of opinions. That means getting information from professionals that be involved related to that particular issue. And on city council, it means also getting information from the public as well. This is a community that cares very passionately about what happens in Cape May. And we need to take into consideration the viewpoint and the consideration of the community. It also needs to be done in a transparent manner. So in making a decision, the information needs to be out in the open. The decision-making process needs to be out in the open. Now, when it comes to ordinances as well, particularly sitting on city council, a lot of these projects have issues of funding associated with them. That's a critical aspect that needs to be taken into consideration regarding any decision. One, what is the cost? Secondly, how do we keep the costs down? And third, what sources are we going to use to pay for those particular costs? Sometimes there's a revenue stream that's associated with it. Other times in Cape May, we have the benefit of having a surplus of $14 million. So there's an issue as far as how a matter could be paid for as well. That's the process I would go through in making these decisions, gathering information, transparency, as I said, information gathering, finances, and then ultimately taking all the information to come to a conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Schwartz? City ordinances and resolutions affect many residents, visitors, and businesses. When voting on resolutions and ordinances, it's important that you have all the information needed to make a proper decision. Explain your process on how you handle making decisions.
So any process that I have been through, I itemize, prioritize. I look at it like a spreadsheet for money. Everything comes back down to the dollar for me. So I usually gather all my information, and if I don't know it, I will get to the bottom of it soon, because I will ask every expert I know in that particular field to help me get to an answer. So I actually feel that I would have a strong voice in city ordinances, and I know that the effect is a ripple effect. It's like a stream. So once again, thank you for mentioning, Steve, this transparency is key to me. And that's how I would handle things head on. And I am also eager to learn more and more about who the people are that are going to make the decisions for these ordinances along with our city government. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Perez? City ordinances and resolutions affect many residents, visitors, and businesses. When voting on resolutions and ordinances, it's important that you have all the information needed to make a decision. Explain your process on how you handle making decisions.
Yes, thank you. I want to ask, how does one decide which movie they want to watch in the evening? How does one decide what they want for dinner? How does one decide what they want to do for their anniversary, for their birthday? How do they decide with a group of people? They communicate. They use teamwork. They have to make sure that the best way, they have to make sure that the other people and the people they're affecting are actually actually have all the information with them. And of course, this is about something more important than a movie, more important than dinner. This is something that will affect all the residents in Cape May. All the people in Cape May is very important. The residents are number one priority. So when making a decision, you have to make sure you use communication. You have to make sure you use teamwork with all the experts in the room. If it's something for zoning or something about the roads or infrastructure, you go to the zoning committee, and you have to make sure you go through with people who know what they're talking about. If it's people about the beach, you have to go to people who know about that area. My priority when I make decisions is making sure I talk to people who know what they're doing, and I go to the people who make the rules, and making sure that we can go find a conclusion and a progress that works for not only the residents, but the city as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bodnar. Question number 3. Cape May is the only National Historic Landmark City, and our Historic Preservation Commission has received numerous awards for their work on standards. The city has received grants and low-interest loans based on our historic landmark designation. It is the hallmark that separates us from other shore communities. Do you support a strong HPC, and your reasons?
We take a lot of pride in Cape May. Cape May is unique compared to other shore towns, to other communities. The character of Cape May is in large part built on the architecture and streetscape of Cape May. Having been in Cape May since the 70s, I have seen how Cape May developed and embraced that character, as well as the history of our streetscape and architecture as well. So I think that it's fundamental that we have a strong HPC. Now, I realize that that can be difficult for some people, particularly who live in the historic district, who want to make some modifications to their properties. And I do respect that people do want to make changes to their properties to enhance them and make them usable, maybe usable in their lives now compared to when the property was built. Nonetheless, development and progress in Cape May can go hand in hand with having a strong HPC. So I think that it's important because maintaining our streetscape, architecture, it's part of the fabric of Cape May, and I believe that we should continue to embrace that and to have we really need 3 groups that work together: planning, zoning, and HPC. They together keep the streetscape of Cape May together. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Schwartz. Cape May is the only National Historic Landmark City, and our Historic Preservation Commission has received numerous awards for their work on standards. The city has received grants and low-interest loans based on our historic landmark designation. It is the hallmark that separates us from other shore communities. Do you support a strong HPC, and your reasons?
Yes, I do, because the landscape of historical Cape May is magic. It's truly what drew my family here in the 70s that were before me. It's what drew my family here. I do agree with Steve on the fact that it can be enhanced. I also believe new ideas, new times, old story. It's a saying I have. It doesn't mean the old and the new can't work together. It's a marriage. So I do believe we have to keep our historical landscape, and I also would like to see that supported, and all the decisions being made together would be something that I strongly support. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Perez. Cape May is the only National Historic Landmark city, and our Historic Preservation Commission has received numerous awards for their work on standards. The city has received grants and low-interest loans based on our historic landmark designation. Is a hallmark that separates us from other shore communities. Do you support a strong HPC and your reasons?
Yes, I totally agree with my other three candidates. It benefits the community we have here in Cape May, and it helps our residents, it helps with the infrastructure, and it helps with the other aspects that benefit us. And I definitely would, if there are some problems where people are not accustomed to, or there's some things we want to review, I believe that it would be best for us to review it if the residents and the people of Cape May wish to do so. But I believe that it should be maintained because it benefits us here in Cape May. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeSanto. Cape May is the only National Historic Landmark city, and our Historic Preservation Commission has received numerous awards for their work on standards. The city has received grants and low-interest loans based on our historic landmark designation. Is the hallmark that separates us from other shore communities. Do you support a strong HPC and your reasons?
Yes, I support the HPC, and I think the HPC could be even better. Now, the reasons why I think it should be better is that what's happening is there's a lot of tear downs going on around town. Once you see a house, the next day it's gone. It's because of this lack of attention from the HPC. Just tear downs are becoming very prevalent. Now, I think they got room to work. I think they need to work on the traffic problems in the city. I think there's a lot of problems with the traffic. I think there's problems with the infrastructure of coming into the city. I think we need to participate and let the city have more than just getting the same deals. I think the HPC is good, but I think they could be better, and I think the city needs to be utilizing more of its assets. Now, I would like to just thank everybody for coming, and this is my time, and that's the best answer I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 4, we'll start with Ms. Schwartz. The city has over a $30 million budget. It is a business inside a small town. Municipal expenses have increased with the influx of visitors. How do you balance the needs of the citizens and the businesses?
That's a good one. I think first is to check in with our experts on the budget, which Leon Costello is our auditor, and I would be checking things very closely with him, as well as bringing in visitors and then maintaining our quality of life. It's a delicate balance like anything else in government, so I'm a little bit, I would say, hesitant to say what I would be so strongly feeling about, because I'm new to this podium as far as what's going on in town, but I'm not new to negotiating and finding out answers. I'm a strong voice. I always get the answer I need, and I would be, that's basically how I'm answering that question for you. If you have anything further to it that I could add, then I'd be happy to, but that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Perez, the city has over a $30 million budget. It is a business inside a small town. Municipal expenses have increased with the influx of visitors. How do you balance the needs of the citizens and the businesses?
Okay, thank you. So I believe that the last administration has done, I think, a great job with dealing with this problem. However, of course, I think we can try to achieve a lot more. I'm always supporting new ideas for the budgets and new ideas for how we could improve the cost of living, how we can try to make sure that our residents are not going bankrupt because of how we operate here in Cape May. Residential programs that we could work on together, or residential discounts for, like an official residential discount that could benefit not only the residents of Cape May, but also residential Cape May businesses could benefit us. These are priorities where it's very important that we look and pay close attention. And if we are able to use the proper resources, we can definitely make an improvement here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeSanto. The city has over a $30 million budget. It is a business inside a small town. Municipal expenses have increased with the influx of visitors. How do you balance the needs of the citizens and the businesses?
Good question. The balance that we need is that the tourists, we have to deal with the tourists. We have to deal with the traffic, which is out of control. We have to deal with our roads, which are very old. The infrastructure is basically inadequate for up-to-date standards. Now, the budget, we have surplus. I'm a firm believer that we need to get something for your taxes. I believe that the city can buy 2 20-yard trash trucks and provide trash service to the residents instead of us paying for a service. Each individual person has to pay for trash. We shouldn't have to pay for a trash service. We pay a lot for taxes, and we pay for a lot of these programs that we should get something from it. I think the trash is a big deal, and by having our own trucks, we eliminate 5 trash companies running around our town with big trash trucks that are full of garbage and leaking all over our town. We can have our own trucks, have our own guys, and participating and watching and looking at each home and understanding they are vigilant on any problems during the winter time that we have by not being vigilant. So if we have our own trucks, we have our own people, we can provide more service to the people. Our citizens got to get something for what you're paying out. You get nothing. And another thing is we should get, if you live here, you should get a free beach tag. There's no reason why you got to spend $50 for a tag. A lot of people can't even afford a tag. It's ridiculous. I am a firm believer, you pay your taxes, you should get something, not nothing, just a lot of nothing. Maybe get your recyclables picked up. Maybe.
Thank you. Mr. Bidner. The city has over a $30 million budget. It is a business inside a small town. Municipal expenses have increased with the influx of visitors. How do you balance the needs of the citizens and the businesses?
While as a resident of Cape May, I love October because it's a great time down here. We welcome the visitors, and I welcome the visitors. The reason is because they do contribute to the vibrancy of Cape May. And they also, we can't ignore this, they also contribute a lot to the revenue of Cape May. Revenue that we use on other projects and that we use to run the city. So how do we strike that balance? We strike that balance by enhancing our community. There's specific projects that we need to complete related to Cape May. Specifically, the Lafayette Street Park, project that's been under construction for a long period of time, and the city is moving forward with the trails that have gone out to bid and completion of that park, steps to take to get that park completed. Harborview Park would also enhance the recreational area in Cape May for all the people, the citizens in Cape May. The police station, that needs to be completed. The seawall, and the promenade expansion. That seawall is critical infrastructure. We had a moment of silence tonight for the people in Milton, or that died due to the Hurricane Milton. That could be Cape May. That is a critical project that we need to complete for this city. In addition, the desalination plant, another critical project. So that's how we strike the balance, by completing those projects that affect our city, and all of those affect our quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, Mr. Perez. In 2004, the city adopted the council manager form of government under the Faulkner Act. Under the council manager plan, the mayor has no veto power. All votes by council are equal. Since your vote is very important when voting on resolutions and ordinances, in your view, what are the subjects that council needs to address moving forward?
Moving forward, well, like you mentioned earlier, I am 100% for the mayor not having veto power. That is because every vote counts, because the people of Cape May are voting for the candidates, and the candidates represent the people, not just one person. So that is very important that not only we keep that, but we also make sure that the committee, the council, just like how every form of the government in Cape May City have an equal voice because of what they represent, what jobs they have. Those things, those aspects are basically what make Cape May, and there's a reason why we have them in the first place. I want to maintain that. I want to make sure that those stay in place, and my priority is to make sure that we keep doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeSanto. In 2004, the city adopted the council manager form of government under the Faulkner Act. Under the council manager plan, the mayor has no veto power. All votes by council are equal. Since your vote is very important when voting on resolutions and ordinances, in your view, what are the subjects that council need to address moving forward?
Good question. The city manager government is a government that the city manager basically manages our city. Now, everybody on council has a vote, the mayor has a vote. We vote on legislation, we vote on resolution, we vote on policies, we vote on quite a bit. Now, I look at when these policies come up, they should be dealt with, and looking into Cape May's understanding the resolutions, they should be all voted on equally. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bidner. In 2004, the city adopted the council manager form of government under the Faulkner Act. Under the council manager plan, the mayor has no veto power. All votes by council are equal. Since your vote is very important when voting on resolutions and ordinances, in your view, what are the subjects that council need to address moving forward?
So first of all, I would say I respect the accomplishments of our city government under Mayor Zach Mullick. I know that I can work with Mayor Mullick. I also know that I can work with the other members of City Council. I've also learned that if I have a different point of view than Mayor Mullick, that he'll listen to me as an independent thinker. So as far as the decision-making process, look, I think you have to deal, it starts with communication. People on City Council need to discuss, on City Council need to do their homework regarding the different projects that are underway and the different ordinances that are proposed. I think we also need to trust our professionals. We have an excellent city manager who is also our city engineer. He is a smart guy, a really smart guy. He has good ideas, and I think he's somebody who we can trust, and we are in good hands as a city with our city manager. As far as the projects that we need to focus on, the police station needs to be completed. We need to break ground on that. I know we're close to the land swap, and once that land swap is completed, then we will be able to have the police station that our force deserves, our excellent police force, Lafayette Street Park, another project. The focus needs to be on that to complete Lafayette Street Park for our citizens. And 2 critical infrastructure projects that City Council needs to work on, and I'm excited to work on if I have the opportunity to be on City Council. That is the seawall project that needs to be completed, critical infrastructure for the city, as well as the desalination plant. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Schwartz. In 2004, the city adopted the council manager form of government under the Faulkner Act. Under the council manager plan, the mayor has no veto power. All votes by council are equal. Since your vote is very important when voting on resolutions and ordinances, in your view, what are the subjects that council need to address moving forward?
I'd like to see council continue to always address taxes and the economic prosperity. I do believe the dog park and Lafayette Street Park, needs to be on the agenda, and police station as well, to support our police force. And I also would like to mention that the citizens have mentioned to me that it'd be lovely if council could do something about the parking for our elderly citizens at Victorian Towers. That's another issue. There's an HVAC issue with the convention hall. There's a lot of expenses on projects coming up. And I too would like to think the mayor would listen to me as a person and an individual. I believe also our city manager is doing an excellent job, and I thank him for that. And I appreciate all the experts that have been giving all their information for these projects. And I'm hoping that I can work with everyone to continue to build the economic prosperity and maintain our quality of life, protect our environment, and just be here as long as we possibly can, enjoying Cape May for generations to come.
Thank you. Mr. DeSanto, how successful and cost-effective do you feel the city council has been with projects?
Want to repeat that?
Sure. How successful and cost-effective do you feel the city council has been with projects?
Okay. Council has a lot of projects going on. And I think the biggest project that a lot of people are kind of wondering about is the police station. Now, the police station is located on a toxic waste site. It's on a brownfield. Some of the policemen have already come up to me, they don't want the police station located on a toxic waste site because they know information that people don't really know. This area where they want to put the police station is a brownfield. Apparently the people who lived on this block, families, are all gone. They all died of a rare brain cancer from this toxic soup that's underneath the ground that's still there, that has been permeating up through the ground and into people's homes. Now, a lot of people don't know that because this happened in the 70s and the 80s. A lot of people just moved here, they don't know nothing, they don't know the people who had perished from this terrible site that they want to put the police station on. I was confronted by some police, retired policemen, they don't like it. They should find a new place to put it. As far as Lafayette Street Park, that's the toxic waste site. They should encapsulate it with blacktop and forget about it because it's the whole area is toxic. I'm afraid of it. No one has inquired about looking at the school here. It's right next door to the toxic waste site. No one has done any sort of test sites, no evaluation, nothing. It's just the one area that was the worst. But see, there's a lot of people in it and don't know the information because it's not out there. A lot of people haven't been living here that long. I know the people who live there, they're gone. Rare brain cancer. It's terrible.
Thank
And
you.
they want to put a police station right on top of it.
Thank you. Mr. Bodnar, how successful and cost-effective do you feel the city council has been with projects?
Well, let's look at some of the projects they've been working on that they're working on. Harborview Park. Harborview Park, the county is about to get a $900,000 grant a grant to Cape May to upgrade and complete the work at Harborview Park. We like grants, right? Because that's not money that comes, it's our tax dollars that was paid to the county, but it's money that's coming back to us. The promenade, they're about to go out to bid on a project for resiliency, repair, and accessibility of the promenade. That project, when that is done, will repair the bulkhead, the timber bulkhead that's there, will fill some of the sinkholes that exist in the promenade, and also the concrete out front and some of the railings that you see. Also, there's going to have new ADA ramps on those entries to the beach that do not have ADA ramps there. $6 million grant there as well the city has acquired with a 10% match. So the city's going to be paying about 10% of the cost for that. The seawall project. The seawall project, it's estimated it's going to cost somewhere more than $25 million. The city is on the verge of getting a $25 million grant for the seawall, and we'll have to come up with about 10% of the cost. So, look, I like that kind of math. To me, that kind of math makes a lot of sense. Lastly, I would say, I know we have a $14 million surplus. The city has done well when it has come, and with that surplus, the city is earning interest on the surplus while it's still continuing to borrow, but borrow at a low rate. We talk to the professionals, they'll tell you that we are ultimately evening out in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Schwartz, how successful and cost-effective do you feel the city council has been with projects?
From what I've seen, what I've looked at, I think it's been very cost-effective. I'd like to see it identify revenue stream and cost savings going forward. I also agree that the $6.7 million grant for the beach promenade and safety is key, and I like that math as well, Steve. More grants, the better. And I also believe that the city is doing the best they can with the budget they have. And if that budget needs to change, we shall do so together and come up with something else. Whatever doesn't work, fix it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I like to see the bonds on projects that are finished move on to the next one and keep things going. And so far, I do see that happening when things get finished and the project expires. Our town's pretty good at that. So I'm learning the ropes on this, and I'm continuing to look at the budget so far, and the things they say they're going to do, they've been doing.
Thank you. Mr. Perez, how successful and cost-effective do you feel the city council has been with projects?
I think they've been doing very good. I mean, just guys, look at the mayor. There's a reason why he's running unopposed. And I think we have a good system with some very good people. However, as a resident, I think it would be very good to have my input in the government. I experience what our residents experience, and as a fellow citizen of Cape May, I believe that it's very important that our insights and input is on the council of Cape May. I believe that will benefit us, and I'm excited to be able to represent that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next question, Mr. Bodnar. What ideas do you have for balancing the quality of life issues facing the resident community due to the large number of whole house rentals and commercial opportunities?
Could you repeat that, please?
Sure. What ideas do you have for balancing the quality of life issues facing the residential community due to the large number of whole house rentals and commercial opportunities?
I think one opportunity that we have is, and it was touched on the issue with parking earlier tonight. One of the issues of quality of life is simply congestion in the middle of town. We all want to go into the middle of town because it's great. We have all great restaurants there. We have great shopping there, and that's where people want to be. On the other hand, you have times a day when people want to go to the beach earlier in the day. So we have an issue in Cape May as far as congestion. We do have a lot of large house rentals. We have a lot of people in town in general. I think one avenue that we can explore is to enhance the transportation system in Cape May, the jitney system in Cape May. I think that we need, and I don't think this is necessarily solely a city problem that can be solved by city government. I think we need to bring the business community into that as well. The business community, because it's people who want to come and shop in their stores. It's workers who are coming over the bridges that are taking up parking spots right in the middle of town, and taking up parking spots and being there for entire work shifts, that those spots can't turn over to other patrons who would be coming into the middle of town to eat or to shop. So I think that we need to rewire ourselves. I think we need to commit ourselves, and I would suggest that we commit ourselves to a transportation system that would go longer in season, that would have longer hours, that gets involved and starts with a discussion with the business community as far as routes that would be available, that makes sense for them, as well as for the residents of Cape May as well, so we can all utilize it to get around Cape May. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Schwartz. What ideas do you have for balancing the quality of life issues facing the residential community due to the large number of whole house rentals and commercial opportunities?
So that balance is tough, but we do have to protect our citizens and respect our locals. I also think that that can still happen with commercial opportunities. We can reach out to those business owners and the people in our local community that have that knowledge, and that can help us find that balance through council and our local government. I would greatly appreciate any information that is brought up during the time that we are running, because balance of life is important to everyone. I mean, that's what we all strive for, balance. So I think it can be done. I think it can be all together hashed out. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Perez. What ideas do you have for balancing the quality of life issues facing the residential community due to the large number of whole house rentals and commercial opportunities?
Yes, so I only started running for city council because a lot of people told me about the quality of life here in Cape May. They talked about parking, the cost of living, and even local sidewalks where they have unbalanced and affected by trees and how hazardous they could be. Things like that build up over time that really affect us who live here. And like, for example, for parking, we should not be fighting for parking against tourists. It's going to be a problem. Tourists are going to expect problems for parking, but us residents shouldn't be fighting against them for it. I am 100% on board with trying to go over the residents and trying to figure out solutions to these problems. Cost of living and parking and all of the above are my top priority as someone who lives here. It should be our number one concern when dealing with those situations. Projects and the funding are important when they positively benefit us as residents, and all the things that add up should definitely benefit us as people who live here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeSanto. What ideas do you have for balancing the quality of life issues facing the residential community due to the large number of whole house rentals and commercial opportunities?
Good question. biggest problem with these Airbnbs and these builders who have large portfolios of homes to rent out, it's become a real hassle because people come here and make a lot of noise, they make it disturbing for the neighbors. It affects a lot of people. I think the Airbnb has become more of a destructive to our community because they just rent out to anybody. They want to stay in anywhere. They even sleep in attics. It's pretty bad. We have to basically understand that we have a lot of nice homes, but we shouldn't have to be sitting and having to deal with people who rent homes next door, and it's pretty uncomfortable. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the final question for the candidates. Ms. Schwartz? Cape May has had no tax increase in over 5 years and has a surplus of over $14 million. The city has over $38 million in long-term bond debt. With plans to bond for major projects in 2026. What is your view on the advantages and or disadvantages of creating more long-term debt?
I don't believe in creating long-term debt for anyone or anything, for any community, for your household. You can see what's happened to our country, so debt for me is a no-no word. And I haven't seen what money is going to go into the 2026 projects. We're working on 25. We're working on some projects I know of for this year. So I don't believe in increasing further debt, and that's really all I have to say on the subject. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Perez? Cape May has had no tax increase in over 5 years and has a surplus of over $14 million. The city has over $38 million in long-term bond debt, with plans to bond for major projects in 2026. What is your view on the advantages and or disadvantages of creating more long-term debt?
Okay, I think we all can agree that we don't want taxes. That's the one thing that we all, as a human race, we just don't like. Unfortunately, like Benjamin Franklin said, that's one thing that's guaranteed to us. But if we can have less than as possible, that's a W. That's good. However, debt is bad, like my friend said. We should not try to account debt of any kind. However, projects are important for the quality of life. They help us. Beneficial projects that are important, like the police station and anything that will require infrastructure and like sidewalks and things that help us fundamentally. Those things are good, and we should invest in those things. However, things that are not useful, things that are like out of budget, and things that have improper planning, those things would not benefit us as a city. So it's very good that we are careful with that, and as long as we make sure that we go through it with the city council, the branches of government here in Cape May, and of course, the number one priority, our residents, if we make sure we go through them and we make sure that our economy down here is what we want, and if it's good and healthy, those projects could be beneficial for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeSanto? Cape May has had no tax increase in over 5 years and has a surplus of over $14 million. The city has over $38 million in long-term bond debt, with plans to bond for major projects in 2026. What is your view on the advantages and or disadvantages of creating more long-term debt?
Great question. I would like to say is that we have assets that we have to utilize. I'm here because of the marina. We can bring in more money $50 to $100 million of revenue. We don't have to go back and try to figure out and put long-term bonds where we don't need to have the bonds. We have revenue coming in to pay for the projects instead of us getting bonds and keep paying these bonds forever and ever. So the best thing is we have assets. We have a beautiful marina site that's been sitting for years. I bought a nice design. It's a 225 slope marina. This is world-class, state-of-the-art marina. This is owned by everybody here. I just don't understand why we've never done it before. But that's why I get these campaigns to understand and let everybody understand that we have assets, real good ones, underutilized and never utilized because of our city officials don't know. They don't understand the marina concept, they don't understand the marina business, they don't understand much of any of it. But now, since I'm in the campaigns, that's why we're here. We utilize our assets to pay down the debt, pay down our taxes, buy some trash trucks so you don't have to pay for trash service, which is ridiculous. You might even get a beach tag. So, I don't understand why we have to keep getting more debt and keep putting taxes on everybody here. We're all fixed incomes. We don't like it. Thanks.
Thank you.
My time's up.
Mr. Bodnar. Cape May has had no tax increase in over 5 years and has a surplus of over $14 million. The city has over $38 million of long-term bond debt, with plans to bond for major projects in 2026. What is your view on the advantages and/or disadvantages of creating more long-term debt?
So, as you said, the city has had a 0% tax increase for 5 years. This year, in 2024, the city also applied $5.9 million of the surplus and applied that to present appropriations. So I think that first you have to start and look at the revenue. So how does Cape May derive its revenue? In large part, it's property taxes. That in fact, for most communities, they get the revenue almost solely through property taxes. But Cape May is unique. We know it's unique. We rely on other sources of revenue in addition to property taxes, specifically the hotel tax, the beach tag revenue, and parking revenue. 3 significant sources of revenue for Cape May. Now, those are excellent sources of revenue and provide an excellent stream of income to Cape May. However, those streams are less stable and more volatile than other types of revenue. One bad tourism season and our revenue is going to plummet. So it's something we need to be mindful of from a budget standpoint. So a surplus, look, it acts as a cushion. It acts as a hedge against unexpected expenses. It also can be utilized when there's variable spending patterns that changes from one year to another depending on our debt load. Also, the application of future capital projects. We know that there's significant capital projects on the horizon. The seawall project and the desalination plant, those are 2 critical projects for our city. And I expect that there's going to be some balance between bonding and taking a look at surplus. But I'm going to say, look, there's going to have to be a conversation on city council. We also going to have to talk to the smart people, listen to the experts on funding as well. But I think we can strike a balance and make a determination as far as how to borrow money and whether we should utilize some surplus towards that. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Mullock. We're up to your questions.
Okay.
Cape May has become a very popular city. To handle this influx of people and to keep the charm, Cape May has put in place many ordinances and laws. Many residents and visitors have expressed concerns about the lack of uniform enforcement of city rules and ordinances. How have you addressed these concerns and how will you in the future?
Thank you. And again, thank you everyone. Before I answer, the civility up here is wonderful. I think if you know, Cape May is the example for America, really, and I appreciate it. You know, one of the questions was about, frankly, our form of government, one of which is I am a member of council. You can think of the council as our legislative branch within the city. We have a chief executive and our city manager. We have the chief of police to enforce our laws that we make. So the fact is, the mayor should not be going around town and telling people what they are and aren't doing correctly. But you have to let the professionals do that. But we do, as a council, need to address any of the concerns that are brought to us through the legislative process. So I think our biggest role is writing the laws to make sure it is protecting the town. So enforcement truly is not the position of the mayor to enforce things, but it is to listen to the citizens, see what they are asking for, what are the issues that are coming up, and how can we do better. Look, I agree, whenever I hear about equal enforcement and, you know, do you see dogs walking on the mall? Yes. Do you see people smoking on the promenade? Yes. Those are things that the council in the previously had banned. Smoking we have banned. At a certain point, you need people to try to follow and respect the law. I do say, you know, the police do a wonderful job in the city of Cape May. And again, one other thing in regards to budgeting is making sure that we have enough police officers, class 1s and 2s. It's been an issue in every shore town hiring enough 1s and 2s for the season, but we have increased our full-time police officers to help with enforcement.
Thank you. Your next question. Taxpayers have appreciated a no tax increase for 5 years, but the city has been bonding for city expenses that are usually in departmental budgets because of their short lifespans. Why create more long-term bond debt when there is $14 to $16 million surplus and the city can take advantage of short-term borrowing to cover immediate needs and limit the burden on future generations?
It's a great question. One thing I am proud of is, you know, look, I think the surplus was about $4 million when I became mayor. It's now over 14. It would be higher than 14 if we didn't use some of the surplus to pay down debt. One of the first things we did when I came into office was refund our debt. And by the way, I see all the council members, actually all 4 of the council members that I work with are in this room. And every one of you do a wonderful job. And I wouldn't be able to do these things without your support. And that's why this is so important. One of the things that we did was we refunded our bonds, just refinancing. We refinanced them to 1.9%. I think every single one of us would love to get financing for 1.9% right now, right? That saved the city millions of dollars. At the same time, we have this surplus that we've been building up, for lack of a better term, sitting and collecting interest in something like a CD, a very safe and secure investment. That's been getting 5%. So of course, that difference is 3.1%. So you could say, why don't you just pay down debt? Well, we're sitting on 3.1% interest, which doesn't sound like a lot, but we've received over $1 million in interest this year alone, which is huge. So, as has been said, in fact, in regards to our budget, I believe we're actually we received more funding to our budget from revenue outside real estate taxes, which is incredible. Not many towns can say that. Most towns are like 99% tax based on real estate. The problem with that is the volatility. No one predicted COVID, of course. So if COVID happened again and you had to close the entire town, you're going to have to rely on that surplus. And has been said, really important projects coming forward, like the desal plant and the seawall, that are going to be needed to pay for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've now come to the closing remarks, and we'll start at the beginning. Mr. Perez, your closing remarks.
Thank you. I love Cape May, and my primary concerns for my campaign is residents and business owners. Cape May, the reason why I'm running for city council is because I want to put Cape May first. I will bring a balanced yet strong voice to the council. And I also want to say that I appreciate this time with all of you, because the more I meet with residents, the more I meet with my fellow neighbors, and the more I learn, celebrate, serve, and participate with all of you, the more I'm hopeful for Cape May's future. I am committed to learning and listening to your concerns, helping with your needs, and upholding your values. I humbly ask you guys to please consider for your vote. I will maintain the cultural character of Cape May, and of course, planning our future, because that is what I'll make sure to continue planning for our future, because that will help our residents. City projects, parking, preserving natural land along with historical areas, and lowering the cost of living to improve the quality of life for residents is my top priority. I started this campaign and I plan to continue to my first term as council member with a growth mindset, and together with our dedication and hard work, I believe that we can do something really special here. I'm thankful for this opportunity, and of course, God bless Cape May. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeSanto.
I would like to thank everybody for coming tonight. This is very, very important to me and to everybody, to our country, to our town. It's very, very important. I got in this campaign because I live here. I love it here, and I'm tired of our town kind of getting out of control. Now, the reason why I got in these campaigns is because we have assets. Beautiful assets that should be utilized. I mean, for years and years, we've been neglecting our assets. So, understand, we have the marine asset. We have a beautiful harbor walk that we can build right along Delaware Avenue that will accent the marina. So, on one side of the street, we have a beautiful site for the marina, and this will bring income back into our budget. Bring your taxes down. Get trash. Get tags. Get something for your taxes. Something. Besides nothing. Now, I think we have to use our assets, and I'm a strong opponent against these windmills. All the testing, all the windmills, I am against it. It's crazy. Now, the mall needs a lot of attention. They're really struggling. They're on life support. A lot of businesses are going out of business. They need help. A lot of it. I think we should have an in-house chamber of commerce instead of having the chamber of commerce not a part of the city. It's separate. I don't think anybody knows that. And another thing I would like to say is that we have a big asset. It's called the sewer track. The sewer track should be turned into a world-class golf course. This would be a Pebble Beach golf course. Right now it's just sitting, it's full of weeds, rats, and raccoons.
Thank you. Mr. Bodner?
I want to thank the TPA for arranging this forum tonight, and also I want to thank you, every one of you, for your passion for Cape May. I'm running for City Council because I chose to serve the public, first as a prosecutor and currently on the zoning board and on M-Track. Cape May is my home. I'm not going anywhere. For recreation, I'm a runner. Earlier this week, I was running on Beach Avenue, and I was reminded of just how unique Cape May is. As I observed running down the street, monarch butterflies around me, doing their migration. And I just thought to myself, what a unique Cape May experience. You only get that here. Cape May has streetscape and architecture, beach, culture, parks, businesses, mostly a passionate and caring community of residents. I take none of that for granted. As a city council member, I'll be a thoughtful steward for this community. I'll exercise sound judgment, I'll work to complete the police station, the seawall, the desalination plant. I'll be fiscally responsible with taxpayer money. I'll work to maintain the character of Cape May. Here tonight, there's only one candidate with experience on a city committee or board. There's only one candidate who works on city finance and land use matters, and I am that one candidate. I prepared myself to hit the ground running as a city council member. My pledge is to support Cape May's future while respecting our past. I ask that you support me so I can fulfill that pledge for the betterment of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Schwartz?
Thank you for having me. Hello? Hi, sorry. Thank you for having me and for hosting this evening to the TPA. And I also recognize all of you are pretty passionate about Cape May if you're sitting here. So I would like to say that I will work very hard for the town, for all of our citizens. I like working with people in the community. I feel, especially after what just happened in Tampa, in Florida, God bless Florida, emergency management is a big thing. And one of the things I bring to the table is I am the girl in the emergency. I like getting into the bunker, so to speak, and fighting. So I will fight for you, for our community, for our quality of life, for our economic prosperity as best I can. I will be here to listen. I will be here to hear you when you're happy and to hear when you're really annoyed with everybody in town. So, and it's gonna happen. There's nobody up here that can promise anything else, otherwise they're lying. So I just wanna let you know, come to me, and I will work really hard. And I've been working hard all my life, so I'm eager and willing. I'm not on any other committees, so council would be my #1 priority. Thank you.
Mr. Mullen?
Well, thank you very much to the TPA, and thank you all very much for coming out here. Being your mayor is truly quite an honor, and I love the job. I love the work, and I love being your mayor. I will continue to attempt to build consensus to accomplish our shared goals, working with the citizens to harness the incredible talent that we have here in the city of Cape May. The success of Cape May has made a very valuable asset, an asset that has to be protected, and that's our job as city council. When I look at what's occurring in Ocean City, New Jersey, selfishly, that scares me. We all know that redevelopment zone was something that was proposed here in Cape May to the same developer that's in Ocean City, New Jersey. It's the people here and on the council that's going to be so important to protecting this town as we move into the future. The recent hurricanes, of course, remind us of not only that we need to protect our town from overdevelopment, but we have to protect our town from environmental disasters. And I agree with some comments tonight of the importance of our seawall, the importance of the desal plant as we move forward. I love Cape May. There's no other place that I want to be with my wife and my kids. And of course, it's an honor to try to attempt to make it a better place, which isn't easy to do because it's a wonderful place to be. During this campaign, and always, I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your comments and your concerns. So please, afterwards, if you're afraid to ask a public questions, see me. I'm happy to hear. That's why I'm here. So thank you very much. Thank you to the TPA, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.